Awesome. Hello, everybody. Hope you guys are having the most incredible day. We are doing a Reignite Your Soul podcast live here on Facebook Live for everybody. We've got an incredible guest here today, Jason Cruz, and he is from Massachusetts. He is a young entrepreneur, and he is just making waves in the online trading space. And I'm so excited for him to be here. And my vision for this is just to be able to bring some incredible people here so that you guys can really get to see the type of people that are making moves in this world, what the vision is of the new way and what that really looks like. So I'm so excited that you're here, Jason.
Thank you. I'm excited as well.
Oh, it's so incredible. So Jason and I actually met over Instagram, and I love Instagram because it's just an incredible platform where you can network with so many incredible like-minded people. And when I heard Jason's story, and he is so young, you're turning 21, right?
Yeah.
Turning 21. And it just blew me away because I'm not much older. I'm 29, but just seeing the light and the spark in you already at such a young age is just so cool. It just gives me so much hope for the future and where this world is going. So I'd love it. Would you mind just telling us a little bit more about yourself and just share your story a little bit so people can get to know you a little bit?
Yeah, for sure. So honestly, I'm gonna start from the very beginning. So
Awesome.
I guess the very beginning doesn't start off quite great, but it's a start. So I grew up in a foster home. Not the best environment, honestly. And from there, at the age of 6, I moved in with my grandparents. And while I was with my grandparents, it was always a feeling of kind of, do I belong here? You know what I mean? Growing up in a foster home, I'm not really sure who my parents are and stuff like that. And the biggest thing for me was, just kind of learning how to develop myself internally. Because from there, I started jumping around from different place to different place. Because my grandparents are old, and whatever the reason was, going to see my parents, going to stay with one of my other relatives. And I ran into one of my aunts, and this aunt forever changed my life. She helped me realize, you're so much, more than what you think you are. Your value is so much higher. You got to be able to see that. And she kind of built that belief system within myself, and it's wow, I'm truly loved by someone, and it shifted my whole perspective in life. It was wow, if somebody could see that in me, I want to be able to be that for somebody else, you know. And from there on, I just started kind of building myself, building my confidence, and really focusing on what it is that I was meant to do in life, my purpose. And the biggest thing for me growing up, knowing that not holding on to anything in terms of love internally, and having any type of passions. The biggest thing for me was school, and school was all I had. So my focus was on getting my grades up. And then I moved to Massachusetts about 4 years ago. And then from there, I started college. So my first year of college, I felt great. I felt amazing because, I was able to accomplish something that nobody in my family was able to do. I was the first person to come to college. And I was wow, I feel great. I feel amazing. But I still kind of had this feeling of unfulfillment inside. You know what I mean? I just felt like I was meant for so much more. School wasn't everything. So, I got introduced to the field of entrepreneurship my first year of college. And, the feeling was just different. It was I was crawling outside of this box. I was no longer having to follow the norm of what everybody else was doing. There was a whole nother path that was led for me. And I was wow, you know what I mean? I no longer felt like my mind was kind of boxed in, because I always felt like I could have been so much more. But there was never anything to kind of direct me and show me, that you can be so much greater, that the sky isn't the limit. You know what I mean? That there's outer space and beyond that. So that was the craziest experience for me. And ever since then, I just started kind of building myself and building others from this platform that I'm with. And, it's just been amazing. It's been a privilege, to be able to have, such amazing people to work with, such an amazing team, and to be able to have them as a family as well. You know what I mean? And I know you can relate. So that's kind of a little bit about my story and how I got to where I'm at. And it's honestly crazy because, in just a week or two, I'm about to move out to Miami and work with a couple other individuals that I kind of started with, people who started at the bottom and now are at the top. And it just blows my mind because it's wow, I'm internally grateful,
Wow, that's so incredible. That's so exciting about the move too. Wow. And it's so crazy because we see you right now and you're literally glowing. The energy that you have is so incredible. And a lot of the time when we see people like this, we forget that they also have been along all of this incredible journey called life. And there's been so many challenges and things that like just took you to a place where you're like, am I ever going to get out of this? Like, are things going to get better? And like growing up, like I can't even imagine growing up in the foster care and just wondering, like how you said, like feeling like you don't belong, and how your aunt like came and your grandparents came to just give you this environment where you felt like your soul and your purpose was being nourished. And it's so important to be able to just surround yourself with people like that, and also in an environment where you can also learn and grow too. And I love how you shared about going to school, because going to college, university, and you didn't finish your thing, right? Your studies?
No,
No,
no.
heck yeah. And I actually love that, because you know what? I finished my studies and I don't use any of them now, but I think this is something to bring up and something that is so empowering in your story, because there's so many other people that we're so young when we get out of high school, right? We're so young. And it's like, how can we actually know what the heck we want to do? Like there should be some sort of like intermediate kind of thing where we start to actually get to go out and explore who we are before we start making these decisions as to where we want to go. So I just want to commend you for like saying like, you know what, this has been a great experience. I've learned a lot from that, but that is not my actual path that like I am meant to go on. And now like you're on this crazy entrepreneur journey. And what was like your biggest challenge, if you were to say like through everything, like what was the biggest challenge that you overcame?
I feel like the biggest thing for me is just honestly standing up in the face of adversity. You know what I mean? Just being able to step outside of your comfort zone and face those fears. Like for me, like I wasn't able to publicly speak. I wasn't able to bring this information to other people. And, you know, I was still working on some type of, you know, self-confidence, because it's like, you know, as you're going through a process of like, you know, building myself up, growing as an individual, you know, I'm still holding out to school, and school just requires you to study, put your face in the books and just focus. So, you know, I kind of found myself as an introverted person, but, you know, this information and this path just excited me so much that I just wanted to burst out with enjoyment and be able to share that with so many other people. So I say the biggest thing for me was just stepping outside of my comfort zone and just like voicing my words and my passion and everything.
So good. And how was it that you came across that opportunity with what you're doing right now?
So I actually had one of my friends back in high school. He was an amazing individual, you know, so caring as well. You know, just always focused on how can he help others, you know, grow, whether it was with a job or, you know, anything that he was doing, whether it was school, field trips. And you know, he got involved with it, and I seen him, you know, starting to have some crazy success. But the biggest thing for me was seeing him going from someone who wasn't in the best mindset to having the craziest mindset in the world. And I was like, wow, you know, I want that feeling. I want what he has. You know, he like I saw him with a glow, and I was like, wow, like, you know, what are you doing, bro? And you know, I started connecting with him a little bit more. He shared the information, and I got involved. And since ever then, I fell in love with what we were doing.
So good. It's so incredible working online too, because there's such incredible mentorship, and just being open to taking a look at that opportunity is huge. But I think that's like one of the most powerful things that we're learning now, and that I'm learning and like have learned over the last little bit, is that success leaves clues. And it's really truly all about finding those people that resonate with you and that have the things, and they are the person, and they just resonate this energy that you would like to become or you would like to achieve in your life. Because once we can kind of have those mentors to be able to look up to model, to learn the steps that they took, and everybody now is so open to be able to share their journey. It's just a matter of the implementation. Like, are you willing to actually put in the steps that it takes in order to do this? And I think that's where a lot of people, that fear comes in. And just, what was it like? Was there anything that you specifically did to help you push past those beginning bits of fear of like getting into something new? Was there anything like specific, like what were those first couple steps that you took?
So yeah, I definitely agree on when you say like knowledge is power, but applied knowledge is the true power. So
Yeah.
honestly, for me, it was just kind of soaking in a lot of personal development. Like, you know, as I saw my mentor, he was still developing in his process. So I was like, you know, where can I get more information to kind of lift my vibrations up, you know, and just kind of shift my paradigm. And the biggest thing for me was, you know, finding those mentors online. For me, it was YouTube. I tell people I graduated from YouTube Academy, and
Yes.
it's so funny. But you know, like all those people that they really do share the information. If you seek, you will find it. So, you know, the biggest thing for me was just being able to absorb that and going out and apply it and failing, and then absorb it, going out, applying and failing. And you know, that's so important to be able to be successful. Is like, you know, you got to fail a lot bigger, a lot faster,
Yeah.
and you know, just do it. Like just jump into it.
Mm-hmm. I love that you share that about failure, because failure can be like the biggest obstacle for people. But when you can truly see every failure as like a growth opportunity, right? Like you said, like take that knowledge, apply it. We're going to fuck up. Like we're human. That's how we learn. We learn through experience, and just being able to like go through that failure, and also like with your vision, like expecting that it's going to happen, right? Like we forget so often like how far we've came. Like my niece, she's just over a year now, and watching her learn and grow, like right from her very first steps to like learning how to talk. And it's like being able to see her do that, get up and just continue going without that fear, right? Because the fear is conditioned into us. And when we can really
Yeah.
truly go into any aspiration that we have and just see it as a growth opportunity, like it's truly like something that is going to transform absolutely everything in your life. And YouTube Academy, man, like we're so blessed in this day and age where we have education, we have everything free, like literally at like on our smartphones, on our computers, like any interest that we have in the world, we can like dive into that topic. Like just go down into the scroll hole and allow it to happen, and just like learn and get excited about things. And what is something that you're like right now you're super passionate about? Like what are some of those things that you've been like really researching on and going deep into that scroll hole of learning the knowledge?
One thing is just being able to kind of bring people through the process that I went through to be able to kind of shift their mind. So it's like, you know, I know that I was able to get there, but now it's like kind of doing some soul searching. So like, you know, I understood my process, I got there. So it's like, all right, you know, what exactly did I did step by step, and how can I bring this to somebody else to help them go step by step? Kind of, you know, be able to cut the learning curve for them in terms of
Mm-hmm.
like mindset development, just allowing them to see, you know, what it takes to be successful.
Mm-hmm. So good. And do you want to explain a little bit more about exactly what it is that you do?
So I do trading and investing, and I also do a lot of mindset development. So you know, through our partnered company, our investment group, we do a lot of mentorship on like, because you know, trading involves a lot of mindset stuff. So to have the mindset towards success is the biggest thing, honestly, because if you don't have a sense of clarity in what you're doing and what you're looking at, then everything's going to be confuzzled. Sometimes you're going through emotions, going through scarcity, and honestly, that's going to promote, you know, the opposite of growth, and you don't want that. You know what I mean? Especially when it comes to investing, because one thing that you got to learn when it comes to investing is that you don't control the market. You know, sometimes we'll place a buy or a sell here, and we're like, I'm hope it's gonna go up. I hope it's gonna go up. But you know, you gotta understand that you're not a big player in that. So you know, you gotta be able to eliminate those emotions, that scarcity, and everything that's kind of blocking you from really understanding what's happening here, and being able to, you know, kind of shift and you know, take that step forward in terms of like being able to identify change and being able to run with it. You know.
Mm, I love that. And what has been your like experience with like the scarcity and the money mindset? Because I know from a lot of like for myself, that has been something that I've personally had to work on so much, because we have like so many conditioned beliefs from when we're children, and like that money is bad, that like they're having these mass amounts of money is a lot of the time people are like, oh, I don't need that. Like I'm okay having less. So how is it that you've been able to really like push through in your money mindset, and what does your vision look like for when you do make it big? Because I know both of us were still in the beginning of our journey, right? And the income potential of what we're doing is absolutely incredible. And so many people, they think that they don't need this big money, which we don't need it. But when we have more money in the hands of good people, this is where more change happens. And as a society, we want more change, but a lot of the time we're not willing to do what it takes to create the impact that we're wanting to make.
Yeah, of course, 100%. I feel like the biggest thing, honestly, is to be able to have a clear vision of what it is that you want and tie it to your purpose and tie it to your why. You know, what really drives you. Because I went through those thoughts as well. I was like, you know, like I just want to be okay. I just want to be good. You know what I mean? Like I don't have to be crazy rich. And, I was kind of having that belief system that, money isn't everything, especially when you're going through the frustration that you can't get it. So it's like, oh, forget about that. I don't need money. You know what I mean? I'm just following my purpose. But at the same time, you don't really know what your purpose is. And kind of when you start going through that process, you realize, wow, when you reach some pinnacle level of success, you're like, wow, all right, you know, you look down and you're like, look at all those people down there. You're at the top and you're kind of by yourself. It's a little lonely. It's like, wow, how can I bring them up here? You know what I mean? And I feel like when you're reaching for higher levels of success, the biggest thing is to kind of keep your focus on that vision, on that goal that you have for the future and for other people as well. You know what I mean? Because when you can kind of dedicate your time to other people, it really shifts everything. It really shifts your entire focus. You know what I mean? To be able to instill that belief system, to be able to allow them to become successful. And honestly, also when you're reaching success, when you're reaching large amounts of money, it's like you kind of get comfortable. But then it's like, you got to realize your impact is so much more than you. You probably impacted 1,000 lives. There's a million other people in the world that are still struggling. It's like, all right, I got to gain more capital to be able to help them. Because the biggest thing is, once you start living in your purpose, you're going to receive. But you got to be able to give back as well. And the more you give back, the more you receive in order to give even more. And that's kind of the thought process that you have to have, because it's like, then you really understand this truly is bigger than me. And regardless if I keep giving, it's always going to come back to me in lump sums. And, that's the biggest thing, be able to focus on that vision, that goal, so that when you're massively successful, the biggest thing is just being happy and grateful for where you're at right now, every single step of the way. And honestly, also, when you're creating that vision, it's like, we're not used to seeing everything that all these amazing, successful people have. There's very wealthy people. So it's like being able to kind of visualize what it feels like to be able to live in their life, be able to live in their shoes. And it's like, okay, now I understand why they want all this, because they get these feelings, they get to do this, they get to do whatever they want in some sense, but it's not living wild and crazy. It's the type of environment you're able to create. Because, honestly, wealthy people, they create their own economy, they create their own environment, their own atmosphere, you know what I mean? Because they live in their own little world. And, sometimes I feel like it's good to do that, because, you have a lot of distractions, you have a lot of people telling you this, telling you that, a lot of different opinions, a lot of different viewpoints. But, when you understand that you're on a path to be able to help people, to be able to elevate them, it's like, why would I allow this person to distract me with their negative thoughts, with their negative thinking? You know what I mean? And the biggest thing is to be able to smile towards people who don't appreciate that. You know what I mean? And it's like, wow, you're really making a difference in their life, regardless if they want to or not. So I feel like that's honestly the biggest thing.
Wow. Yeah. Knowing your why is so powerful. And because things get tough, right? And it's just like always recalibrating and thinking back to the reason why the heck you're getting into this. And I love that you shared about like helping one person and just kind of like going from there, because it truly is addicting. Like there's sure, like us having success is great, but when you start helping other people have that same success that you have, there is nothing more fulfilling than that. And then it just keeps going there, and like it just keeps rippling out, and that impact that you're making is just massive. It's just the coolest thing ever.
Yeah, 100%. And it's honestly like, as you're kind of getting more successful, you want to always realign yourself where your purpose and your goals. Because sometimes, you have a lot of lump sum of money, but the same way you got it, the same way you can lose it. So it's like always staying attached to that goal, that focus, that purpose, and, just giving back, really, really, truly like helping yourself realize, why do I love, seeing other people succeed? Like, does that really impact me? And then it's like, if it doesn't, I got to kind of question myself and really figure out why it should. You know what I mean? And just ultimately being grateful for you. Because it's like, wow, when you really understand that you're in a position to win, you're in a position for massive success because somebody else decided to look down on you and help you get there. It's like, all right, you know what? I gotta help them. You know what I mean? Like it's just the definite factor of, what it is that I'm doing.
Yeah. It gets you going when you don't want to get going, because we're not robots, right? Like we've got human emotions and we're learning how to deal with them as well. But when you can truly like see the gift of what it is that you're providing for other people, it gets you up, it gets you moving when you don't want to move. And curiously, Jason, like what is your reason why you're doing this? What is it that you're looking to create?
Honestly, so it kind of changes as I reach new levels, but just helping people come from a situation that I was and understanding that there's more to life. You know what I mean? Because sometimes our home environment or whatever it is not exactly the best. It's not exactly positive, and it's like, wow, I'm gonna live this type of life based on what I know, what I see, and what I understand. But to be able to show people that, you know, there's other ways to live in life, there's a different path. You know, that's the biggest thing for me, to understand that you don't have to go through this pain, you don't have to go through this suffering. You know, you can be great. You have potential inside of you. I feel like, you know, as human beings, we're created in God or the universe's image. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, in some sense, we are perfect. You know what I mean? Even though we're not. So it's like we have all this ability to be great. You know, why not be able to tap into that? It's your decision whether you decide to take that path or not. But I feel like it should be, you know, a responsibility of mine and so many other people to be able to show people that you can be so much more.
I love that. And we are imperfectly perfect. I love that, because it's like I am totally on board with that. Like, we all came to this earth with this like soul mission within us, and it's up to us to figure out what the heck it is. But we live in a time now where it's truly like we can own our authenticity. We don't need to be the same. Like, the way that we stand out and the adversity that we've overcome truly does make us special, and it makes us who we are. And that it's such a beautiful thing when we can all just own our stories, own our challenges, own where we can, like, where we want to improve in life, without the ego feeling like we need to show up a certain way or feel like we need to know everything, because we're all students of life. We're students of life until we die. And then at that point, like, we go on and we're just always learning lessons. And yeah, it's incredible just to see you like going into this and just sharing your gifts with humanity and elevating like the way that young people look at the world, and the way that just empowering other people to be able to also go from that place where, when you're born, like your environment, you're born into this environment that you can't control. But then as you grow up, like, we have full control over everything, and nothing is like unfixable. Everything is something that we can uncondition and recondition into that final vision that we want. And as long as we continue looking at that final vision and we just keep moving forward and trekking toward it, there's no way that we can fail.
Exactly.
It's incredible. And having people like you and like other people in our lives that just get it and pour belief, and having that community of support, because when we doubt ourselves, people are always seeing it within us.
Yep. Yeah.
It's incredible. And so if you were, say, to give, like, if you were to leave one lesson or one piece of advice for people watching this episode right now that would just leave them with a little bit of hope and inspiration moving forward, what would that one thing be?
Honestly, I would say, like, don't listen to the opinion of others. You know what I'm saying? Go with that gut feeling. Whatever you feel like you really truly passionately want to do, then go and pursue it. Because I feel like a lot of times, you know, we're filled with fear and anxiety because we're worried about what other people are going to think. We're worried about, you know, whether we're going to be successful or not, whether we can handle the success. So the biggest thing is being able to kind of stand in the face of adversity, ignore the opinion of others, and just kind of just jump for it, just jump into it. Because I feel like, you know, if you allow yourself to hold yourself back because of outside factors, then, you know, you'll never be successful. Like, I know so many people that come across opportunity every single day, and understand, every time you go through adversity, every single day and every single moment of your day that you come through adversity, that's an opportunity to grow. And if you don't take advantage, and if you don't shift your perspective to be able to see that, then you will never amount to anything great. You will never be able to achieve what you want to achieve in any way, shape, or form. You know, every day there's an open door. It's your decision whether you want to walk through it or not.
Oh, mic drop. So good. Amazing. Well, like, I just want to thank you so much for like being bold and being vulnerable and going after your dreams and being here live with us and just sharing your story for people. You inspire me so much, and I know that you're inspiring so many other people. And so if people are wanting to connect with you, Jason, how is it that they can best contact you?
The best way to contact me is through my Instagram page.
Instagram. Awesome. And what's your Instagram handle?
Jason Official 2.0.
Jason Official 2.0. Awesome. And thank you, everybody who is catching this live with us. If you guys are catching the replay, thank you so much. If this resonated with you and you are wanting to share this with somebody, please do, because we know that the ripple effect is so real, and there's so many people out here needing to hear Jason's story and just needing to have that little boost of inspiration right now in their lives. And I just want to thank everybody who's listening to this. I want to thank you, Jason, for just being open, having an open heart and an open mind now moving forward, and just pursuing your vision and your passions, like just full force, and just being bold to see what that looks like for you, and just freaking going for it. So thank you so much for being on here. I really appreciate you so much.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for the open door of opportunity.
Oh my gosh, you're so welcome. Awesome. Well, have a beautiful rest of your weekend, everybody. And we will see you guys on the next episode. Bye, everyone.